1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Out there in Banjo land, Mike Heading here, coming to you today with a classic old fiddle tune, June Apple in the key of A. We've got our capo on the 2nd fret, 5th string tuned up to A. We're thinking out of the key of G, but it's going to sound like the key of A. I had a request to do this fiddle tune. It's a great old fiddle tune, and it's a really good example of the power of melodic style banjo versus Scruggs style banjo. So Scruggs style, obviously, I love Scruggs style banjo. It's very cool, but certain melodies don't adapt quite as well to Scruggs style as they do to melodic style. June Apple is an example of that. So we're going to dive in deeper on why a melody like this might be challenging to play in Scruggs style and how to unlock this melody in melodic style. So as always, I'll break down the solos for the A part and the B part note for note, just like I played at the beginning of the video. And then at the end of the video, we'll go over some backup you can use. So I kind of think of maybe backing up a fiddle on this song, so we're going to go through some kind of down the neck rolling backup you can do for the song. All right, here's June Apple in the key of A. Let's dive into the A part. All right, so let's start breaking down this first A part. So the melody for this song is a series of pretty short phrases. So what I recommend is playing it phrase by phrase and then kind of building it up, putting the phrases together kind of sequentially. So that's what I recommend. So let's play the first phrase and then we'll start breaking it down. Here we go. Do that really slow. One time just a little faster. So this lesson is a really good example of the differences between Scruggs style and melodic style. So we're playing this melody in melodic style. So in Scruggs style, you'd have to approximate this melody. You wouldn't be able to play this melody note for note like you can in melodic style, right? And I think it's the best way to illustrate this is to take the phrase and play it as if you had a pick. So it'd be something like this. Something like that, right? So you can see those notes are close together. So they're close together and on the same string. So Scruggs style doesn't work well with playing notes back to back like that on the same string. You'd probably have to do something like this. And like use like a forward reverse roll. Because again, Scruggs had his particular rolls that he liked to use, and he would approximate the melody using those rolls, right? So you'd probably have to, again, play something like this. Something like that, right? And then maybe like a lick on an F. So again, you can't play this melody note for note in Scruggs style. So what we're going to do is we're taking those notes and putting them all on different strings. So instead of playing like that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna play open 1st string, and then grab this note here on the 6th fret, and then grab this note on the open 5th string, right? So we're gonna walk into it, and then we're gonna play a roll that we need to play that melody. Again, we're not confined to particular Scruggs style rolls in melodic style. We're just playing whatever roll we need to make the melody work. So we're gonna go 5th string, 2nd string, 1st string, 2nd string, thumb, index, middle, index with that note down. That's this. So we're going. So the only thing we did in measure 1 is we just filled out the rest of that measure with a pinch. That's essentially our pickup. So we're going to go thumb on the 3rd string, pinch the outside strings, and then thumb on the 3rd string again, and then kind of just have your left hand ready right on the 6th fret and play, and then do that roll. So you have. So not too hard. It almost looks kind of like a Scruggs style thing, but again, we're not using a roll that's typically associated with Scruggs, which is fine. So that's what we're doing there. So let's practice that a few more times. Kind of accenting my thumb and index finger. I think that kind of helps the melody pop out. And then we play a little response lick. I'm going to go forward again, T-I-M. Put my index finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd string and play, again, like not really a roll. We're going to go. So we go 5th fret on the 3rd string, open 2nd string, back to that 5th fret, open 1st string, and then 5th fret on the 2nd string with your either middle finger or 3rd finger. I use my 2nd finger, my middle finger. So you have. Let's put 2 and 3 together. We have. Basically right here, and we're going to play this melody. Same thing, it'd be hard to play that in Scruggs style. So what we're doing is we're grabbing this note, we're grabbing this note now here, and we're going to do not really a roll at all. We're going to go middle index back and forth while taking your 1st finger on and off that 3rd fret. So you have. And then a little response, 3rd fret, 5th string, and then kind of go backwards. So let's play 4 and 5 together. And then actually we go back up into our pickup. So we're right here, open 1st string, and we just slide up 1 fret and we play. So let's play that, the whole thing. We have 4 and 5. We have. So what I would practice is, 1, practice the right hand on its own because it's pretty weird. You can just mute the strings or keep them open. And there probably is going to be a limit on how fast you could do that. So if the song was super fast, if a fiddle player really kicks it off fast, you might have to modify that. And again, maybe you go back to more of a Scruggs style roll there and play a lick. Because there probably is going to be a max speed where you can do that index, middle, or middle index back and forth. I know there is for me, right? So we're going. The other thing you want to do is make sure you're kind of picking through the strings confidently. Otherwise, I found if you kind of do it too timidly on a lick like that, it's easy. You get a little bit of that kind of pick noise. You hear that? Because that's where you're coming back and resting on a vibrating string. That metal resting on the vibrating string makes that little noise, which is, you can't eliminate it completely, but it's a little bit undesirable. So a lick like this, where you're kind of going back and forth, can really highlight that pick noise. So you just want to make sure you're picking through each string confidently and not kind of coming back and resting on the string, right? So you have. That whole thing together, so I'll do it really slow. We have. So remember, the chords that we're thinking of relative to our capo are G for for the first two measures, and then F, right? We'll go over that in the backup, but just you can hear that. So that's the chords we're playing over. The other thing I didn't mention that's kind of cool about this song is that we're actually playing not a major scale. We're not doing this scale. We're actually doing what would technically, theory-wise, be called the Mixolydian scale. So we're playing with the flat 7th note. So that's how that F chord comes into play when we start using that note. Songs like Old Joe Clark, Pretty Polly, you know, a lot of classic Little Maggie kind of use that implied flatted 7th rather than the happy major 7th, right? Right, that's kind of more the happy. And we're doing, right? So that's where that note comes into play. So that's just a good kind of theory-wise and ear training thing to hear that. Now we're actually back to our opening same melody line. Measure 6 is the exact same as measure 2. So this is very common in fiddle tunes to kind of go back and repeat the opening melody line again. So we have, and then we actually start it very similar to measure 3. We go forward, and then we go down to this 5th fret. We play thumb, index, and now we're going to reach our ring finger down to the 7th fret of the 4th string and play a forward roll, 4, 3, 1. You got to take your index finger off as well. So you have the measure 7 on its own sounds like this. And then you're going to start moving down here because we're going to go into an F chord down here. So we have, kind of get used to moving back down. It's really good practice to practice moving from essentially your open to this kind of melodic shape up here, right? Something you could practice is like do a Scruggs lick. Doesn't really matter what right hand you do or what lick you do, you're just practicing. You're just practicing getting comfortable moving from this shape down here. Or you could like slide. So that could be another whole lesson in itself, but just kind of, this is a good lesson to practice moving back and forth between those common shapes. Okay, so let's do that again. Let's back it up from measure, let's play 6 and 7 together. So we have, basically take this ring finger and slide it down to the 3rd fret, and you're going to play it like a little single string lick. I'm going to play, and then pinch index and middle on the 3rd string and 1st string. So with my right hand in measure 8, I'm going thumb, thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb. Just kind of playing out of this F chord. What I do is I kind of accent this 3rd fret here, and then accent this, and then accent the pinch. So you walk it down. You can essentially just keep your ring finger down, honestly. Pinch. 3-5 slide, that finger's down. 3-5 slide, forward roll. Hit the 5th string, and now you're back to your pickup. That's going to start the A part over, okay? So you have, again, good practice on sliding and then getting back up into that melodic shape. So let's play those first 9 measures. That's like the halfway through the A part. So we have, G, F, G. So it's 2, well again, we'll break this down further in the lesson in the backup section, but we have G for 2 measures, F for relative to our capo for 2 measures. And then back to G for 2 for the capo, relative to the capo. And then F for 1. G. Very common fiddle tune form where one of the chords is slightly longer in time the first time. So you have G for 2, F for 2, G for 2, and then F for 1, right? And then back to G. Very common form. So think of keeping sense of the organization. That's kind of how I think of it. Is very important when you start to memorize a lot of these fiddle tunes. You know, can you memorize 20 fiddle tunes? Can you memorize 50? Some people know 1,000. So keeping that organization of how the form of the song works is very important. For example, measures 2 and measure 6 are exactly the same, and measures 3 and measure 7 are very similar. So if I could memorize that section, I've essentially got 50% of the A part down. Then I can worry about creating little variations later because I have that solid sense of a part that I've memorized to come back to, right? So that's very important. When you start learning more tunes, you know, the first song you might not notice these patterns, but after 10 or 20 fiddle tunes, you start to notice these patterns of, oh, the ending is always a little bit shorter. So that's a good way to hear that ear training to keep your place in the song. Okay, that's the end of the song is when that F chord becomes 1 measure. So little things like that can be really important for helping you memorize a bunch of tunes, okay? So keep that in mind.